So let's continue our lesson. Okay, so we already covered chapter 4. So now let's cover for chapter 5. Okay, so in chapter 5 we will learn about how to prevent accident from happen. Okay, so in lesson number 5 we want to learn about principle of accident prevention. Okay, so what we should do to prevent accident from happen in the workplace. Okay, okay, all right. Okay, so these are the learning outcome from this chapter. So at the end of the session, we will understand what is the reason accident happen and what is the prevention we can take to prevent accident from happen. Okay, and then the common type of injury that can happen in workplace, and then what is the any unsafe act and unsafe condition, okay, that can cause accident happen in the workplace. Okay. All right, so injury prevention. Injuries cause more death in children between age of 1 and 4 years than in any other childhood age group except adolescent. Okay, childhood accident at home and outside are common but preventable. Okay, so accident, okay, injury can happen to anyone. Okay, but it is more prone to children. Okay, so that's why, okay, like we already learned in chapter 4, that's why International Labour Organization, they ban any children labor, okay, from happen because children are very prone to injuries. Okay, children is very sensitive to injuries. Okay, so they can injure very easily compared to adults. Okay, that's why uh, the international labor standard, they ban any children labor, okay, in any country, okay, because they want to protect children from injury. Okay, so injury is can happen, but it is preventable. Okay, you can prevent injuries from happening. Okay, so how to do it? Okay, so that we will learn in this chapter. Okay, so common accident. Okay, all right. So common accident that can happen. Okay, that can cause injury in workplace. For example, you fall. Okay, trip and fall. Okay, and then maybe crash. Okay, something crushing you. Okay, right. So all these accident can cause injury to the person who face the accident. Okay, so how to prevent all these incident to happen and to avoid injury? Okay, so these are the principle of, okay, these are some of the principle. Okay, these are the principle that we can use to prevent any accident from happen in the workplace. Okay, so the first principle, management and worker must fully cooperate. Okay, so you must, okay, so accident prevention is not only responsible to the employee. Okay, employee also has their own responsibilities to prevent any accident from happening in the workplace. Okay, so the first principle in accident prevention is employer and employee must cooperate to to prevent any accident from happening. Okay, all right. So these are the first principle. Okay, and then the second principle, accident prevention is good management. Okay, okay. Why? Because we always use prevention is better than cure. Okay, prevent something from happen is better than correcting something that is already happening. Okay, so prevention is better than cure. Okay, so that's why here we say accident prevention is a good management, style. Okay, and then the third principle, top management must lead. Okay, so accident prevention cannot cannot happen only on the lower level of management. Okay, it also must go up until to the top management. So your CEO, the CEO, your COO, your president, or anyone else on the top, they must ensure that they also must participate in preventing accident from happening. So top management must play their own role also in preventing accident. Okay, and then the fourth one, they must be an occupational safety and health policy. Okay, so the company themselves, they must have their own policy regarding safety and health issue. Okay, so they must have their own policy. Okay, and then number five, must have organization and resources to implement policy. Okay, so once you already have your own policy regarding safety and health issue in the workplace, you must employ, okay, you must appoint somebody to implement the policy. Okay, and then the management also must give their resources to run the policy. Okay, so the management must provide resources. Okay, and then they also must provide manpower to implement the policy. Okay, that is number five. And then lastly, best available information and technology must be applied. Okay, so in order to ensure that your it's not your technique, your your policy is up to date in the current technologies, you must always go to collect data and information from the outside sources. Okay, so you must engage with authorities or anyone that involved in the occupational safety and health to get new information, to get new technology, so that your policy is always up to date. Okay, so these are the principles that you can use to prevent accident from happening in your workplace. Okay, all right, so what is incident? Okay, so incident or accident occur through a combination of causes. Okay, so accident always happen unexpected. Okay, maybe you can predict, but usually accident happen when you didn't predict the timing. You cannot predict the timing accurately. Okay, so accident happen unexpected and unplanned. Okay, it is happen in the blink of time. Okay, accident will happen in the blink of time. Okay, it can happen in a short period of time. Okay, so it is very unexpected and unplanned event. Okay, and then it happened through a combination of causes. Okay, all right. So incident or accident can happen due to several reasons. Okay, and then incident can cause physical harm. Okay, it will cause physical harm, for example, injury or ill health or diseases to any individual, to any property. Okay, all right, and then this loss or and combination. Okay, so it can cause physical harm to the individual, to the property, or combination, or both. Okay, so incident in the okay, so we can simplify it as anything happen. Okay, anything unexpected and unplanned. Okay, so we can simplify it as an unexpected and unplanned event that happen due to several reasons that can cause physical harm to individuals, property, or both. That is what we call as incident. So anything that happened unexpectedly and unplanned, okay, that can cause harm to individual or property or both. That is what we call as incident. Okay. All right. Incident can be divided into two types. Okay. Incident that cause short-term injuries. Okay, sorry. Incident that cause short-term harm. For example, maybe your forklift fell. Okay. This example. Okay. So example here, your forklift maybe you hit something and then your forklift fell. Okay. Then it will cause short-term harm to the forklift because the forklift is fall down, right? So you cannot use the forklift for a short period of time. Okay, then you just pull the forklift up again, then you can use it again. Okay, so this is the first type of incident, short-term incident. Okay, right, and then we have short-term harm incident. Okay? First, we have the short-term harm incident. And then we have another type which is long-term harm incident. Okay? For example, incident that cause hearing loss to your workers. Okay, so when your workers lost their hearing because of incident in their workplace, okay, they will lose their hearing permanently, or maybe after a long time it can recover a bit. Okay, but still they will not recover their hearing in the like the previous one. Okay, so these are one of the incident, okay, long term. Okay, so this is another type of incident where the incident cause long term harm to the people or to the property. Okay, first is maybe hearing loss, maybe amputation, loss of leg or loss of leg or loss of hand. Okay, so it is a permanent injuries. Okay, so we can classify incident into two types. First is short-term harm, and then another type of incident is long-term harm. Okay, so why we need to prevent incident from happening? Okay, so there are three reasons. First is legal reason, okay, because when incident happen, you have to face with lot of laws and regulation. Okay, because I think all countries they have a laws and regulation regarding accident that happen in the workplace. Okay, so if accident happen in the workplace, so you as the employer you must face with legal battle with your employee in the courtroom. Okay, so your employee can file a claim, okay, with the court. Okay, so if accident happen in your workplace, okay, your employee, the one who injured from the accident, they can file a claim to the court, okay, to the court to claim a sum of money from your company. Okay, so these are the first reason, legal reason, because you don't want to deal with any laws and regulation regarding accident. Okay, and then moral issue, okay, because you want to have a good image, okay, with your workers, with your employee, with your customer. Okay, so you try to be a good employer where you will provide a workplace with free accident. Okay, with free accident, you try to prevent accident from happening in your workplace because of the moral issue. Okay, and then lastly, it's because of the business reason. Okay, because if accident happen, it can stop your business activities. Okay, so once your business activities stop, it will cost you money. Okay, because in business, time is money. Okay, once you have to stop your business activities due to any incident happen, then you the money the time that you lose will cost you money because you cannot generate money from the time. Okay, all right. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, the reason why we need to prevent incident from happening. Okay, so accident caution theory. So this okay, so there are several theories that we use uh, to uh, to to explain accident. Okay, the first theory is domino theory. It means that if one accident happen, it can create another accident. Okay, it's like a domino effect. Okay, so one domino fall, it will hit another domino, and another domino will fall. Okay, and then it will hit another domino, and then another domino will fall. Okay, and then it will continue until the end. Okay, so this is what we call as domino theory. Okay, so one accident can cause another accident to happen. So we don't want they want to happen. Okay, and then we have another theory. We call it as loss quotient model. Okay, this model, this theory, okay, we use it to control the losses. Okay, this is another theory. Okay, we try to prevent any further losses that happen because of the accident. Okay, because one accident happen, it will incur losses after losses. Okay, first you lose your business time. Okay, you lose money. Okay, you lose time to make money. Okay, and then you lose you have a loss because you have to pay your for medical fees to your employees. Okay, and then maybe the injury of your employee is very severe. Then they bring it to the court to fight to make a claim to make a claim to your company. Okay, so you have to pay another sum of money to your employee. Okay, because the court asks you to do so. Okay, so if accident happen, it can cause you losses after losses. Okay, it's similar like domino effect. Okay, so domino effect we talk about one accident create another accident. Okay, in loss quotient model theory, we're talking about how to prevent extra losses that happen, okay, due to the accident. Okay, because we know that if accident happen, you will incur losses after losses. Okay, so how to stop your losses from getting bigger and bigger. Okay, that is the second theory, and then the third theory is multi-causality accident model. Okay, so multi-causality accident model, we talk about the reason. Okay? We talk about the reason why the accident happened. Okay, so these are the three theory regarding accident. Okay, so what is the reason accident can happen? So three basic causes of accident. Okay, so there are three reasons why accident can happen. First is because of unsafe act. Okay, because the workers itself, they are working in they are working the way they are working in the workplace is not safe. Okay, unsafe act. Okay, that's the first reason. Okay, and then the second one is unplanned incident. Okay, unplanned incident means that maybe there are some water spill. Okay, so water spill can create incident, right? Okay, so unplanned incident, okay, water spill, or maybe wire exposed, or maybe machine breakdown. Okay, so it is any unplanned event that happened. Okay, so unplanned incident. Okay, and then and then when we have unplanned incident, it can create unsafe condition. Okay, so these are the three reasons why accident can happen. Okay, unsafe act, unplanned incident, and then unsafe condition. Okay. Okay, so another reason why accident can happen is because of lack of management control. Okay, so management also plays a role in why accident can happen. For example, selection of workers. Okay, to prevent any unsafe act from happening, you must select experienced and capable workers to do the work. Okay, right? So this is one of the technique you can use to prevent any unsafe act from happening in your workplace. But maybe because of a lack of management skill or lack of management control, you appoint, okay, you appoint somebody that do not have enough skill or do not have uh, enough experience to do the work. Okay, so you select wrong workers to do wrong job. Okay, so this is one of the reason why accident can happen. Okay, and then machinery and equipment. Okay, so you didn't maintain your machinery or you use unsuitable machinery to do the job. Okay, so this is one or another. Okay, this is also one of the reason, okay, under lack of management control. Okay, you fail to control the use of the machinery. Okay, and then supervision and etc. Okay, you didn't supervise your workers. Okay, so and then system of work. Okay, the procedure. Okay, the procedure itself is unsafe procedure. Okay, and then information and training. Okay, because you already know that your workers is do not have enough experience to do the work. Okay, you already know. Okay, you should provide. Supposedly you should provide training so that they understand how to do the job. But you fail to provide training. Okay, so you become the reason why accident will happen. Okay, so these are some. Okay, so these are five reasons why management can become causes for accident to happen. Okay. All right. So once accident happen, it can cause injury to the people. Okay, so what is injury? So injury is any wound or medical legally include any lesion, external or internal caused by violent with or without breach of continuity of skin. Okay. So injury in the simple term is any wound that happened to the person. Okay. So the wound can either break your skin or maybe it not break the skin, but it wounded inside. Okay, so this one here said with or without breach of continuity of skin. Okay, so the wound can happen externally where you can see your skin breaks and it bleed. Okay, or it can happen without the skin breach. Is that the skin is intact, but the injury is inside the skin, below the skin. Okay, all right. So this is what we call as injury. Okay. Okay. So injury is okay. Injury. Okay. So injury we call it as mechanical injury. So what is mechanical injury? Mechanical injury are those which caused by the physical violence to the body, depending on the manner and how they are caused. Okay. So there are several types of injury. Okay. But when accident happen in the workplace, most of the time injury happen because of mechanical factor. Means that maybe you are hit by blunt object, or maybe you are cut by sharp object. Okay, or maybe you are being we call it sharp object pierce your skin. Okay, so this is what we call as mechanical injuries. Injury that happen because of physical activities. Okay, all right. Okay, for example, blunt force injury, sharp force injury, and firearm injury. So these are what we call as mechanical injuries. Okay, so these are the most common injury that will happen when accident happen in the workplace. Okay, all right. So there are several classification of mechanical injuries. First is blunt force injury or trauma. Okay, we can split it into three types: abrasion, contusion, and laceration. Okay, and then we have sharp force injury or trauma. First is incise wound. Second one is stab wound, or number three is chop wound. Okay, and then we have fracture, and then we have lastly is firearm injury. Okay, so these are the classification of mechanical injuries. Okay, so let's read. Okay, so abrasion. So abrasion is injury involving superficial layer of skin and are caused by impact of an object, fall on rough surface, pressure of fingernail, piece, muzzle of gun, or rope. Okay, so abrasion, okay, means that maybe you have, okay, so you fall, okay, and then you see there is a red marks on your skin. Okay, so this is what we call as abrasion. So these are the most common one lah, especially when you are tripped or you fall. Okay, so when you fall, you you will hit your skin. Okay, you will hit your skin on the floor or on the stair or on some object. Okay, so what happen is your skin will become redder or maybe sometimes it become bruised. Okay, so this is what we call as abrasion. Okay, so these are the most common injury that happen in the workplace. Okay. All right, so unsafe act and unsafe condition. A condition in the workplace that is likely to cause property damage or injury. Okay, responsibility, it is everyone's responsibility to recognize unsafe condition in the workplace, not just safety managers. Okay, so to prevent any accident and any injury from happen, we must recognize what is unsafe act and what is unsafe condition in the workplace. Okay, so unsafe condition is the condition where the workplace is not safe or dangerous for the for the for the for the human being or for the property of the workplace. Okay, and then it is responsible of everyone. Okay, so everyone is responsible to recognize to recognize any unsafe condition in the workplace. Okay, so not only the safety manager or the employer who recognize any unsafe condition in the workplace. Okay, it is responsible for to everyone. Okay, so even the employee also, they have to identify. Must be cautious and must be able to identify any unsafe condition in the workplace. Okay, so what are the reason unsafe condition can happen in the workplace? First is because of poor housekeeping, okay, and then horseplay, confused material storage, careless handling of material, and improper or defective tool. So these are the reasons why unsafe condition can happen in the workplace. Okay, and then next one, lack of machine guarding, failure to install warning system, okay, and then lack of or failure to wear proper personal protection equipment, PPE. Okay, and then next one is because of the weather. Okay, and then next one is worker not dressing for the job to be safe. Okay, and then failure to follow instruction and etc. Okay, so how to correct unsafe condition? Okay, so we already know what is unsafe condition. We already know what is the reason unsafe condition can happen in the workplace. So how to prevent unsafe condition from happening in the workplace? Okay, so what is the step to take once unsafe condition is found? Okay, so when you find out, when you identify there is an unsafe condition in your workplace, okay, the first step is the first step is you try to correct the condition by yourself immediately if possible. Okay, so if possible, if you have the means to correct the unsafe condition, then you can try to do it by yourself immediately. Okay, but if you cannot do it, then you have to report the unsafe condition or action to the appropriate authority. Okay, so if you are unable to correct the unsafe condition by yourself, then you must report directly to either your supervisor or to the safety committee. Okay, and then after you report, you must follow up, report the condition again if it is not corrected. Okay, so after after some time, okay, you check again, is the condition already corrected or not? Okay, if it is not corrected, then you have to report again to the safety committee or to your supervisor, so that they are aware that the problem is not is not being solved yet. Okay, right? So you have to do the follow up. Okay, right. So that is the basic strategy on how to prevent unsafe condition in the workplace. Okay, all right. So basic accident prevention and occupational safety and health. So okay, so that is how to prevent unsafe condition. So here is how to prevent accident. Okay, so what? So there are three type of accident prevention. Okay, the first one is primary prevention. So primary prevention is any intervention that address a risk factor for an injury or disease. Okay, and then the secondary prevention refers to early detection of disease and intervention before symptoms appear. Okay, and then the third one, or tertiary prevention, any clinical management of workers who are injured. Okay, so there are three type of prevention. Okay, there are three type of accident prevention. Primary, where you prevent the you prevent the you prevent the accident from happening. Okay, right? And then the second secondary prevention, you prevent the accident before it become worse. Okay, right? And then the theory prevention, you prevent the you prevent the you prevent the injuries from become worse. So with that, on the theory prevention, the accident already happened. So now you want to ensure that the impact from the accident, okay, you try to minimize the impact of the accident from become worse. Okay, yeah, so that is the theory prevention. Okay, so primary and secondary happen before the accident happened. Tertiary happen after the accident happened. Okay, so why we need to prevent accident from happen? Okay, so the first one, needless destruction of life or and health is morally unjustified. Okay, so if you ignore the accident and then the accident happened, okay, right? So you are responsible to any damage or life losses due to the accident. Okay, so it is morally unjustified to to ignore any accident. Okay, to ignore any accident from happening. Okay. Alright, now second one, accident, injury, and illness produce far-reaching social harm. Okay, and then the third one, regulatory requirement for management to provide a safe and helpful workplace. Okay, so when accident, okay, so these are the reasons why we need to prevent accident from happening. Okay, right. So this is another reason why we want to prevent accident. Okay, because when accident happen, it can cause you direct cost, which is a small portion of the cost from the accident, and then they also will incur you indirect costs. Okay, so most of the time indirect cost is much bigger from the direct cost. Okay, so direct cost including the medical treatment, okay, and then maybe repairing the equipment or property damage due to accident and etc. Okay, indirect cost, okay, cost to cover, maybe you have to pay some of money to your employee who is injured. Okay, you pay for the lawyer if your employee bring the case to the court. Okay, so this is what we call as indirect costs. Okay, so there are a lot of costs being involved if accident happen. Okay, so you don't want to pay for all these costs, so you have to prevent accident from happening in your workplace. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so this one you can see here. Okay, so they break down. So direct cost, for example, medical cost, insurance premium, okay, and then employee compensation. Okay, so this one is okay. Direct cost is a small portion of the accident cost. Okay, indirect cost, you have so many things. Okay, inspect, repair, remove, or replace damaged or destroyed equipment and material. Order replacement part, material, or entire machine. Rent temporary replacement machine or tool. Pay overtime wages. Absorb possible lost sale. Hire and train new employees if your employee are not able coming back after the incident. Okay? So you have to hire and train your employee, investigate the incident. Okay? You have to, after incident happen, you have to investigate. Okay? And then investigation will cost you money. Okay? And then complete written report, file workers' compensation or insurance claim, clean up areas, repair damaged work areas. Okay? So there are lots of indirect costs that will happen when accident occur. Okay, so if you do not want to pay any of these costs, so you must try really hard to prevent from you must try really hard to prevent accident from happening in your workplace. Okay, right. You only see the tip of the pyramid. Okay, the accident is something that already happened. Okay, incident and unreported occurrence. Okay, so something that is unreported because maybe the accident happened because it become bigger, right? The reason accident happened because there are small incident happening before the accident. Okay, so this thing sometimes, okay, for safety issues, sometimes we are missing out this kind of thing. Okay, so you have to, if you really try to prevent accident from happening in your workplace, you have to pay attention to all those details. You have to pay attention to all the incident and unreported occurrence that happen in your workplace. Okay, right? So again, accident happen due to unsafe condition and unsafe practices. So cause of accident. So this one also is already discussed. Okay, happen because of unsafe condition, unsafe act, and management failure. Okay, right. So also already discussed. Unsafe condition happen because unadequate guard or protection, defective tool and equipment, congestion, substandard housekeeping, excessive noise, and inadequate illumination or ventilation. Okay. So unsafe working condition, some of the sign or indicator, okay, there are no safety signage. Okay. So how we can identify if your working condition is unsafe. For example, there are no safety signage put in your workplace. Okay. There are no fire extinguishers. There are no label for emergency exit. There are no personal protective equipment, especially when you are working in a plant. Okay, there are machine guard. For example, if you are working with machine, there are no cage to protect the machine from people. Okay, we call it as machine guard. Okay, you must have machine guard. Okay, especially for the dangerous machinery. Okay, so you must have machine guard. Okay, if there is no machine guard, immediately you can tell that your working condition is not safe. Okay, and then lastly, there are no first aid equipment in your workplace. Okay, all right. So what is the philosophy for accident prevention? Society as a whole has a moral responsibility to prevent the destruction of life and death, life and health, particularly in the workplace. Employer is primarily responsible for ensuring a safe and healthy work environment. Employees are held accountable for following prescribed safety standard and guidelines. Okay, so these are the principle for preventing accident from happening in the workplace. Okay, all right. So people working in a safe and healthy workplace are efficient, competitive, and productive. So this is the reason why you need to prepare a safe and healthy environment to your workers so that they can work in efficient manner. They are very competitive and they are very productive. Okay, all right. So that is the end for lesson number 5. Okay.